Hello, everyone. As promised, we are here with our Girl Scout cookie math, and I don't think I can ever do word problem solving in the same way ever again because I've been spending quite a bit of time studying the works of Peter Liljedahl and John Sangiovanni, and I'm I know I'm overlapping a lot of their strategies, so I'm just going to give them both credit. But something that they are suggesting doing is taking a word problem and then spending multiple days on that word problem or that concept of the problem and just changing it every day. And I cannot tell you how much my students are loving this. We all know students, when they hear about word problems, oftentimes they're moaning and groaning because they don't understand often what the question is even asking. So we decided we're kind of math nerds, I guess. At dinner time, we talk about math problems, and our nephew Michael was eating dinner with us, and we started brainstorming what would some word problems about Thin Mints be. And so this is the first one that we came up with. It's Girl Scout cookie time. You've been saving your money for these cookies. One box of Thin Mints costs $6 and has 10 servings. You're wondering what a single serving costs. What does each serving cost? And essential to problem solving, both of these gentlemen say, is having students solve in more than one way. Now, I didn't teach any standard algorithms. I didn't say, this is a division unit question. I just presented the problem. And I actually made a copy. Now, the students were all working on big whiteboards. So, and I'll show you some pictures of those just here in a moment. But, whatever you have the students doing, I gave them each one of these. And I did not read the problem. I let them read it themselves. And John Sangiovanni says we need to provide pictures on our problems just to make it look more inviting. I didn't have to do that because we actually had Thin Mint cookies, thanks to wonderful Stanley. But I sent them on their way, and they were very excited. Perhaps it was the concept of Thin Mint cookies that they were dealing with. Now, Peter Liljedahl has a couple suggestions of how to begin. And he, works with public school students. So the first thing that he has them do when they go to their work area is they have to write each other's name on the whiteboard. Because I think oftentimes in large public school classrooms, they don't know everybody. I'm not in a large classroom. I only have 23 students, and so we all know each other's names. But you know what they don't all know is how to spell each other's names. So that's how I modified it. And so each student would go, and then we would each write each other's name on the board. And then Peter suggests that you do a this or that question just to build community. So one day it was, are you a taco or a burrito person? And then they can display that any way they want. And they really had fun with that. And the next day 3 that we did it, I forgot to give them a this or that, and they were like, where's the this or that? We want to know. So I'm going to continue doing that when we do this word problem solving. So they started working on it, and they were using all kinds of strategies. One group went straight to the calculator and figured it out that way. And then they were done. And I felt really sorry for them because they were finished and everybody else was just gung-ho, writing all over the place, solving, and they were done. And they just went to, I didn't really pay them much mind. They went and got their books and started reading. And then I realized that night lying in bed, what I was supposed to do was have them solve it another way. And that's something I'm learning from both these gentlemen, is you want your students to solve in multiple ways. But I did that the next day. So now day 2, we're going to do it again. And the enthusiasm from day 1 was even greater on day 2. Day 2, we changed the problem to Raphael is throwing a party and wants to invite 30 friends. Each friend will get to eat 3 cookies. There are 32 cookies in each box of Thin Mints that cost, as you know if you've been buying them now, $6 a box. How much money will Raphael need to spend? And I even wrote on the bottom, solve more than one way. And the students were very excited to do that. Now, a couple students said to me, we thought you were going to say how many boxes does he need to purchase. So that was kind of a twist. It wasn't that, it was how much money will they need to spend. And off they went, solving more than one way. Avi's group finished, and he came to me and he said, so Mrs. Matsuda, we stepped it up. We changed the number of friends and the number of cookies. So that is something that you can have the students do when they finish. Change the problem, and they can even write that problem on the whiteboard or wherever they're working so that other students who finish can come and solve their problem. And that was very exciting too. And they said, can we do this again tomorrow? Students asking for word problems. And I said yes. And we had another problem to do. This is day 3 now. It's Girl Scout cookie time. You go to Stater Brothers, and the troop is selling cookies galore. A box of Girl Scout cookies costs $6 and has 32 cookies. You begin to wonder what one cookie costs. So, what does one cookie cost? Solve more than one way. And again, I gave them no standard algorithms. I said, figure this out. And students went right to work. And, each group is doing a different strategy pretty much. But I had one group come to me, and they're about 10 minutes later, and they came and they said, we really don't know where to start. Can you help us start? Which was really an interesting question. It wasn't, can you give us the answer? It was, where do we start? I loved that question. And, I didn't know the right way to do this. Word problems have been a struggle for me all my life, too. And I tell my students that admittedly. But I said, well, I'm not sure if this is the most efficient way to do it, but this is how I would do it. Would you like to see? And they both said yes. So I said 32 times blank. I said, this is kind of algebra because we don't know what this is, an unknown, equals $6. And I said, let's just take a guess. Let's just pick a number and put it in here and see if it gets us close. 32 times this number get us close to $6. And the first number they chose was I think 10 cents. And I showed them how we could do that mentally, and it's, not enough. And so then they went to 25 cents. And what I hadn't anticipated is that every time they put in a different number, they were having to do 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. So they were doing 2-digit multiplication like crazy, never once complaining about it, excited to do it, and they were practicing a skill that they needed to practice also. So I was telling Wonderful Stanley about that. I said, we had so much fun today. Oh, and the students said, can we do Girl Scout cookie math for the rest? You think I'm going to say the rest of the week? No. The rest of the month? No. Can we do this for the rest of the year? Anyway, I was telling Stanley about this, and he said, oh, yeah, that's called do you remember what you said that strategy is called?
Guess and check.
I said, oh, I've seen that. Yes, I had seen that in a textbook, the guess and check strategy. And I said, is there another strategy that would have been more efficient? And he said, yes. And then he came to my class the next day and taught it. And we put this in our math journals even. It was so big.
Actually, before she told this story, she said, my students don't even know what Girl Scout cookies are.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, are you kidding?
How?
Right?
February in the United States. Is this not everywhere?
So I went on the Girl Scout website and found the grocery store and found what times they will be there to sell their Girl Scout cookies. So I bought 2 boxes of Thin Mints, and then I went to the classroom the next day and shared the cookies with them. But anyways, back to solving the problem. If 32 cookies cost $6, I said, well, why don't you cut it in half? So what's half of 32? And the class said 16. And I said, so what's half of $6? And they said $3. So then now we have 16 cookies cost $3. And I said, well, let's cut it in half again. So 16 in half, and they go 8. And then I said, well, $3 in half is $1.50. And some of them were using calculators to figure that out, which was fine.
Honestly, if we had done that in the beginning of the year, they wouldn't have been able to do that. It's because we've been working with money so much this year, I think, that many were able to do that.
And then so we go, now we have 8 cookies is going to cost $1.50. So let's cut it in half again. So 8 cookies cut in half is 4 cookies. And then $1.50 in half is 75 cents. So then I started to write this stuff on the board. So it looks sort of like this. Right?
This is what we were putting in our math journals.
So it wasn't on the board. So it was actually on this piece of paper. We're using the document projector. And then when we went down to 4 is 75 cents, I said, well, you can write 75 cents differently. And we did the actual cent symbol versus the dollar symbol so they can see the similarity of these two dollar values. And then we say, okay, let's cut the 4 cookies is 75 cents, so let's cut it in half. So then we went half of 4 is 2 cookies. So what's half of 75 cents? And so they had to use their calculators and they said 37.5 cents. And I go, yeah, that's right. Well, there's no such thing as 0.5 cents, but we're just trying to figure out how much 1 cookie costs. So we just kept going. So 2 cookies cut in half is only 1 cookie. And 37.5 cents it cut in half is what? And they go, oh, it's 18.75 cents. And I go, that's correct. And so then I said, do you know what you just did? And they go, no, what is it? What is it? So then I wrote down, can you guys see this? I wrote down unit price. You're actually finding the unit price. And I said, I always do that when I go shopping because I want to get the best deal. So I'll see a package of toilet paper and it'll say, this package has 72 rolls and this package has 48 rolls. And then I will calculate which package has the best unit price. Like, what is the price of just 1 roll of toilet paper? Then I know which one's the better deal. And I said, sometimes, okay, you think buying more is cheaper, but it's not true. If you actually calculate the unit price, sometimes the middle package with just a little bit more than the single package is the better deal, and the bigger package with the mega size or whatever is actually not a better deal. So I told them, you got to calculate the unit price. And then I also showed them how to do it. And then I wrote down, can you guys see? I wrote down that you go $6 divided by 32. Oh, sorry. Okay. So $6 divided by 32 is the same as it written 6 divided by 32. So
But even though you showed them the standard algorithm, if we were to do it the next day,
they wouldn't, yeah.
It would not have been compressed at all. They would have done their own calculations or done the half-half. It was funny. I remember they were saying, is this like double half strategy for multiplication? They're trying to make connections, which really is our goal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but the unit price, Janine has a project that she teaches unit price, and then they go to the grocery store or they go to the market or they go to Target or Walmart or wherever, and they do the unit price calculation, and they bring it to class and they share it. So
we can do a video on that. We can do one.
Next time.
Okay. All right. Well, I never thought my students would be so engaged in word problems, but I think the fact of having something common and then just building on it all week was very, very a really good technique. And we could have easily done a 4th day on this. I was going to do a comparison with Thin Mints and maybe like trefoils or lemonades, 2 different types of cookies. My this or that for one of the days after they tasted the Thin Mints was, do you prefer Thin Mints or Oreos? I remember that was a fun this or that question. But 3 or 4 days of this could easily work, and I want to thank Peter and John for coming up with these strategies for helping our students have confidence and actually now more of a love for word problems. Mm-hmm. So we hope you'll try it. Get yourself some cookies. It doesn't have to be Girl Scout, but it is that time of year. And thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.
And they're delicious, just saying.
He's addicted. Completely. Bye.
Bye.
I'm Janine Matsuda. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget
to like and subscribe!